It was past midnight when Emily received the call. A cold shiver ran down her spine as she picked up the phone. Emily. The voice on the other end was weak, almost a whisper. Please, help me. Her heart pounded. It was her sister, Sarah, but Sarah had been missing for 5 years. Emily sat up in bed, gripping the phone tightly. Sarah? Where are you? There was silence for a moment, then Sarah's voice came again, barely audible. Highway 46, near the old bridge. The line went dead. Emily's hands trembled. Could this really be her sister, or was this some kind of cruel joke? She couldn't sit still. She had to find out the truth. Throwing on a jacket, she grabbed her car keys and rushed outside. The streets were empty, silent, except for the distant hoot of an owl. Her car roared to life as she sped toward Highway 46, a road long abandoned after a tragic accident years ago. The night was dark, the road illuminated only by her headlights. Trees lined both sides of the road like silent watchers. A heavy fog settled in as she approached the bridge. Emily slowed down. Her hands gripped the steering wheel. The bridge was barely visible through the mist. Then she saw something. A figure standing in the middle of the road. Her heart jumped. It was a woman. Emily slammed on the brakes. The car skidded to a stop just inches away. She stepped out, her breath coming in sharp gasps. Sarah? She whispered. The woman slowly turned. It was Sarah, but she looked different. Her face was pale, her eyes sunken, her clothes torn and dirty. Emily ran to her, tears streaming down her face. Sarah, where have you been? Sarah didn't answer. She simply raised a hand and pointed toward the woods beyond the bridge. Come with me, she said. Emily hesitated. Something about this felt wrong. But this was her sister. She followed Sarah into the dense forest. The air grew colder, the trees towering above them like silent guardians. Sarah, talk to me, Emily begged. What happened to you? Sarah kept walking, never looking back. Then suddenly, they reached a small wooden cabin, hidden deep in the woods. Emily's stomach twisted. The cabin looked abandoned, its windows broken, the door slightly open. Sarah stepped inside. Emily hesitated before following. Inside, the air was thick with dust. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling. The wooden floor creaked under her feet. Then she saw it, a table covered in old newspapers. Emily picked one up. The headline made her blood run cold. Young woman disappears on Highway 46, feared dead. The date was from 5 years ago. The article was about Sarah. Emily's breathing grew rapid. Sarah, why are these here? Sarah finally turned to her. I never left, she whispered. Emily's stomach clenched. What do you mean? Sarah's lips trembled. I died that night, Emily. The words hit Emily like a punch. No, she said, shaking her head. That's impossible. You're standing right here. Sarah's eyes filled with sorrow. I tried to come home, she whispered, but no one could see me. No one could hear me. I'm trapped here between worlds. Emily backed away, her mind spinning. No, this can't be real. Sarah stepped closer, her hand reaching out. You have to help me, Emily. You have to set me free. Emily's hands shook. How? What do I need to do? Sarah glanced toward the floor. Emily followed her gaze and saw something half buried under the wooden planks. She knelt down, heart pounding, and pulled at the loose boards. Her fingers scraped against something hard. A scream stuck in her throat as she realized what it was, a human skull. Tears blurred her vision. Sarah, she whispered, looking up at her sister. Sarah's eyes glistened with pain. They never found me, she said. I was left here, alone, forgotten. Emily wiped her tears. She knew what she had to do. She called the police. Hours later, as the sun rose, officers searched the cabin. They found Sarah's remains beneath the floorboards. Emily stood outside, watching as they carefully placed the bones in a bag. She felt Sarah's presence beside her. Thank you, Sarah whispered. Emily turned, but Sarah was fading, turning into mist. Will I see you again? Emily asked, tears in her eyes. Sarah smiled softly. Not in this life, she said, but one day, yes. And with that, she disappeared into the morning light. Emily closed her eyes, feeling a warmth in her heart. Her sister was finally free, and the midnight journey was over.